Good morning and welcome to Pitstop with your Deers Ford Lincoln Auto Amigos. I'm Tony.
And I'm Fernando.
We're joined today by Mike Coffman, longtime employee of Deers Ford Lincoln. Welcome, Mike.
Good to be here.
How long have you been at Deers Ford?
It'll be 38 years in, I think, November.
Fernando's not even 38 years old.
Wow. That's crazy.
So you're saying a long time?
A long time.
So how'd you get started at Deers Ford?
So I had lost my job running a manufacturing company. I was the president's assistant, and another fellow came in about half the business. And so after a year of training him, I was out. And so then they were good to me. They paid me 4 months' pay to find another job. And I came here to practice my interviewing skills. And Charlie offered me a job with a nice guarantee to give me some peace of mind. And I said, let me think about it. And I went back home and applied in my field, in the manufacturing field. And I had chances for other jobs, but they all wanted me to travel. And we had young kids. So I thought, well, I'll just give this a try. I had seen what everybody else did on the payroll. And I decided, hey, I'm better than most of those guys. So I can do this and make a living. And
Thought Cindy might like having you around a little bit.
Possibly. Maybe she's not too happy about that. No, that was good because we had a young kid, so I needed to be around.
Did you see yourself being here for that long when you started out?
Gosh, you never think about that. It's the ride and all what you go through and what you're trying to accomplish. You don't think about. I guess I never really thought about that. And I was offered a couple other jobs with companies that I had applied with, and they would have been good jobs. They offered me jobs a year into doing this, and I knew then I could do this. And they wanted me to travel also, so I never did it. But after 4 years, you have golden handcuffs, because if you do a good job, you just have so much repeat business that I don't know where else you'd go to do what we do.
So 3 decades of car sales. What's it like today compared to when you first started?
Boy, it was, in a lot of ways, it was a lot easier in the past. Weirdly, that's the back in the day, we were on the phone, or we walked the lot, or we stood by the door and people came in, and people didn't get on the internet. They didn't look at stuff. And so it was kind of fun to meet and greet people and actually go through the sales steps the right way, because, nobody had, they knew what they wanted or kind of what they wanted, but they didn't know really our inventory because they couldn't look at the internet.
Right.
So that was different. And when, there wasn't the technology. So when you delivered a vehicle, you showed them how to set the radio stations and turn the crews on and adjust their seat, and away they went. And all we did for paperwork then was handwrite a purchase contract, hand it over to the finance department, away you went, which made a difference because we had more time. I mean, there were many years I sold over 30 vehicles a month, every month. And I don't know how you would do that today with the delivery process and the stuff you've got to put into the computer, and what Ford and Lincoln has you doing to satisfy them that they are sure that you're doing the right thing. Just takes too much time. I feel like that's impossible.
Now, over the past however many years, you've seen Deers change itself, right? What is one of the biggest changes that you've seen inside of the dealership throughout those years?
Well, how about this, right? We never did this. So, being exposed this way is a big change. People, our management's changed. The vehicles have changed. We used to stock a lot more vehicles. We used to have a huge inventory. There was a period of time when we were big into leasing that we sold twice as many vehicles a month as we sell today. And we had 16 to 18 salespeople. So it was a different deal. But again, we didn't have all of these things to do to deliver a vehicle that you have today. So
how has technology changed things?
Well, obviously we have to know it, and we have to explain it, and we have to set people up on it, or have somebody help you to do it, because I need help a lot of times, because I don't know everybody's phones, and everybody doesn't know all their passwords, and they haven't used this or that forever. And so, yeah, it's changed, but it's made things a lot easier. I was just on a trip to Colorado, and it was great. We had Blue Cruise on the vehicle we were driving and set the cruise. By the way, Blue Cruise works till 80 miles an hour. At 81, it doesn't want you to go 85, which we maybe would have done.
that's
but,
Not that you would have done.
no, I
tip.
would, we just experimented with that. But yeah, I mean, the technology, that's a lot safer. There's lane keeping. You can, sit there just like I am with your hands free. You got to keep your eye on the road, but boy, that's nice. It's safer for sure. I'm sure it is. You're still in control.
Right.
If something's going wrong, you can grab the steering wheel, you can hit the brakes, you can hit the gas. That's
Now you've seen a lot, Mike. You've been here a while. What is one of the funniest stories that every time you think about it makes you laugh?
I went into management for exactly 1 year. And so I was out appraising a vehicle one day. And so I had the keys. I walked out and it was some small little like Toyota cab and a half truck, and older and kind of rough shape. But I walked out and opened up the door and started to put my foot in to get in, and a dog with a head the size of a basketball stuck his head out there. And I swear to God, even thinking about it today, I almost had a heart attack. It was, and he was so friendly. It was great. Oddly enough, I'm appraising this vehicle and I look over at the dash, and the dash is just, you have the vinyl on your dash, the vinyl covering, and it was all chewed up. And I said, "What happened to this?" He said, "Well, I left my sandwich in the glove box." And he was bound and determined to get it. I was like, I don't even know how to appraise this vehicle because I have no idea what it's going to cost to fix this dash. Thank God it was 100 and some thousand miles, so it didn't matter. But yeah, I thought I was going to die.
So did you ever have a sale that you thought, no way am I selling this vehicle, and then you end up selling the vehicle?
So a doctor here in town was trading in his Explorer, and it was probably 2 years old. And he was getting a new one, and the new one was about the same as this one, but there were a few things, and I was doing my job and showing him stuff, and I'm showing them the automatic tailgate, and we've got the tailgate up. And at some point I said, "I'll jump in the driver's side, you get in the passenger side, and I'll show you some of the things on the dash." And I double clicked to hit the tailgate to shut the tailgate. And I got in the vehicle and I'm sitting there and I don't see him anyplace. Looking in the rearview mirror, I don't see anything. I get out and he's getting up off the ground, and the tailgate started to come down, and it clipped him right in the forehead and knocked him down. He was on the ground bleeding. So we had to come in and wipe him off, wash it off in the bathroom. Took him to the emergency room, and he got stitches.
Oh man!
Wow!
And yeah.
And you sold it.
And he did. He bought the vehicle. That's a vehicle I never thought I was going to sell for a period of time there. I thought, oh boy, I really messed this up.
But do you think maybe he got home and he said, "Honey, stand right here"?
Yeah, right.
Now let's address some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about dealerships. What is one of the things, or a few of the things, that you know that people have a misconception of?
Well, all I know is here, because I've never been elsewhere. I do hear stories where people had bad experiences, and I imagine somebody does here, not very often. And if something happens wrong, we seem to try and take care of it. So I really do think the misconception, especially today with everything on the internet and all the information you have to find out what your vehicle's worth, what another vehicle should be sold for. We can look at the Carfax. I think the misconception is they're going to come in and get taken advantage of. And all the dealerships get rated. You've got Google reviews, Yelp reviews. I think it's really a misconception anymore that you're going to get taken advantage of at a dealership, at this dealership. Mm-hmm. Now, elsewhere, I can't speak for that.
So what has selling cars taught you about people?
I think 95% of the people are a blast. I like my customers, and I think 95% of your problems come from 5% of the people. Some people you can never satisfy. But for the most part, I love my customers. They're all great. They're friends, people. My customers through time have, they come in and, they know I'm not going to take advantage of them, and they know I know something about what they've been getting and what they might lean toward. So yeah, that's one of the things I'll miss, is I enjoy most all my customers, and look forward to seeing them come in and visiting.
You've built a level of trust with your customers.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. If something goes wrong, I feel really bad. I don't mean anything to go wrong. It's, and through the years with thousands of vehicles being sold, nothing's, there's going to be a few things where something didn't go just right, but very, very rarely. And we always take care of it. So
Now I know that you are great at giving advice, Mike. So
good advice, of course. Yes, right. Never bad.
Doesn't
You
happen.
need to clarify. Not just advice.
You're
There's other
good at giving good advice.
Yeah.
All right. So what is one piece of advice that you could give somebody when they're going into a dealership?
Today, don't be guarded. If you're coming in here anyway, I don't know else. Again, I don't know elsewhere, but if you're coming in here, don't be guarded with what you want to accomplish. Be upfront. Speak English. If you've been looking online, tell them what you've looked at and where it may not be exactly what you want, let the salesman know what's important to you. Actually, the salesman should ask you, what's important to you? Is it safety? Is it, mileage? Is it the size of the vehicle? What's important? And be upfront. Don't be guarded. Let them know what's going on. You wouldn't be guarded if you're out buying a house. You're going to tell the real estate agent, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not happy with the kitchen here. I'm not, if you're not happy with the color of the vehicle or what is the size of the miles, you need just tell the person what you're trying to accomplish. You have a budget. Let them know. I mean, that's really important. If you come in here and, your budget is $500 a month and you don't tell them, you're going to waste your time and their time looking around at stuff that, just isn't going to fit what you want to do. And there's no reason to waste your time.
So what matters most as a salesman, knowing the product or knowing the customer?
Well, you got to know a little bit about the product, but, I think relationships are really important. We get tested. We have to pass tests online. So you have to know a bit about the product, but relationships are what it's all about. I mean, I sell people I know, people that you buy from. You go buy, you go down to Krasny's and buy something, couch or whatever from them because you know somebody there. It's relationships are really important.
Shout out, Howard. Did you see that?
Now, because the industry is moving many different ways, right? What is one thing that excites you more about where the car industry is going nowadays?
Well, I think safety is probably, I really do think the technology with semi-autonomous driving is really a good thing. Tesla has, it's still not full. I mean, you can put in an address and go all the way to somebody's driveway, but you're still in control. You can still grab the steering wheel. So I think that part is kind of cool. The technology is getting a little over the top for a lot of people, though, because they feel like they don't want to go that way. I think the younger generation kind of likes that. So that's probably the deal. I'm still not a fan of electric vehicles. I just don't see, you're charging them with coal-fired plants most of the time and all, so I'm not. Hybrids, I think I'd like to see them go with hybrids that are non-plug-in so that people can, just drive and recapture some of the energy as they drive. And that makes 100% sense to me, but it isn't exactly the way all the automakers are going.
Maybe you'll slow down and they'll see that maybe that's a good route to start on before you jump so much into the electric.
Hopefully, I think that makes sense. It's not, and you get a hybrid and they're going to be 30% better fuel economy. My gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Let's jump that way, I think, but they don't ask me.
So, favorite Ford ever sold or driven?
One of the vehicles I really liked was, I think it was a 95 Ford Taurus SHO, which is a super high output. And it was the first year they came out with a automatic in that. And so I got one of those and I did get it to 125 once on a racetrack, of course.
Yes.
On a
yes.
It was,
no way that would happen.
It was cool. It was a really cool, fun vehicle.
Had one.
Did you have one too?
One of our first.
Did you have stick or the automatic?
Automatic.
No, yeah. Those were.
It's a nice car.
Those are nice.
And it was very reliable.
Right.
And we didn't have any issues with that car.
And they were kind of sedate looking. I mean, they were sporty. You could look at them, they were sporty, but they didn't just jump out and you think, oh boy, that thing's fast, but it was fast.
Yeah, we traded it in on a minivan.
So
We started having kids.
That's a natural progression, isn't it? Wow.
Now, Mike, you mentioned earlier that you're gonna miss, the clients coming in and all of that because you're getting ready for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is right now the right time for you?
Well, actually, I've been slowing down our management has been really nice to let me slow down. I've been slowing down, as you know, for 6 years or something, 7 years, maybe something like that. Anyway, it just kind of hit me that, gosh, I'm 73. What am I doing? I never would have, you asked me, would I picture myself working here at 38 years in? And no, I always thought I would quit at 65 or 66, but our management team has been so good to me to let me slow down and do my thing and come and go. And so I've kind of rode along with it. So the technology and Ford requiring us to do some hooking up on the computer to, justify what we're doing and how we're delivering the vehicle has kind of got me to where I'm just tired of doing that. And the thing is everybody doesn't know how to operate their phone. And so now all of a sudden I'm supposed to know how to operate everybody's phone. I have an iPhone, which thank God 80% of the people I think have, but an Android, I'm like, oh boy. Or if it's somebody that's older, like me, my age, that, doesn't know their passwords and can't get things figured out, your delivery process goes to 2 hours in a big hurry. That's just, what? That's not excited about that.
Before I let you ride off in the sunset on any more of these retirement questions, I still have some that I want to know about your favorite cars. If you could bring one Lincoln or Ford back, which one would you bring back?
Not the town car. Gosh, I don't, back the Taurus SHO was just cool as all get out. And actually, I'm really disappointed right now. We don't have the Ford Focus. We don't have the Fusion. We don't have the Edge. We don't have the Escape. And then consequently, we don't have the Lincoln Corsair. So there's 5 vehicles I'd bring back, I guess, it'd give us a little bit more to sell.
See, now I would have, if you had me write down answer questions from Mike Coffman, I would have missed that because I thought for sure, okay, Mike's a classy guy. He likes this. I would have put down Lincoln Continental for that.
I had a really nice one. I had a 93 jewel green, ordered it and leased it for a couple of years. And then I went to the Taurus SHO and that was a nice, the Continental was nice and it was big, it was roomy and it was cool. I kind of dressed it up. And
when I first started here, they were kind of starting to phasing them out.
Yeah.
And I always thought, this is such a nice car. This is such a nice sedan that, and you had people come in knowing they're going away and they wanted them,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think the back seat of a Continental was roomier than the town cars, weirdly, So, yeah, I thought they were. And just a little sportier, if that's or classier, I don't know. Yeah. Younger, maybe.
People look at them and go, there's an old person's car, those Continentals. But yeah, I could see my grandpa driving that going, here's a ride for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool ride.
I could even see Fernando driving that.
Well, one of the newer ones, maybe. Going back to retirement, Mike, what is something you're going to miss about being at the dealership?
I will actually, I think about it now every once in a while when I'm walking in, I'm thinking, geez, I've only got like 4 months to go or so. And I'm walking into work and I'll miss coming in and saying good morning to Martha's right at the desk, to Graham, just seeing people, Brandon, Troy, I'll, just coming to you guys, coming in and seeing people. I'll miss that. And I'll miss the customers, a lot of my customers still have my cell phone number. So I've been telling them too, hey, text me or call me if I'm gone and you're wondering who you should see, because it's important to me that they end up with a good salesman that's planning on being here for a while and planning on building a relationship. And then, and I hope they do. I hope they reach out because I'm not going to just ignore that and say, I'm retired. I don't care about you, because I care about them. And I'll get back to them and let them know that, who they should talk to.
So Mike's got 4 months left. So we're not kicking him out tomorrow. But I want to know at the end of these 4 months, what are you looking forward to the most? And I know it's not going to be more golf because there's no way that's going to happen. It's a lot of that.
I probably will get out there a little bit more, just a little more. Not a lot. I can't get out there a heck of a lot more. I live on a lake and I used to fish. And back when the kids were younger, we'd go fishing a lot more because golf takes time. You go out and play 18 holes of golf, you got in 5 hours, so, or the 19th hole goes longer, you're 6 hours. But yeah, so I'll probably fish a little bit more. I'm looking forward to no time restraints, like I do like to exercise a lot. And I know that I will, a lot of times I'm exercising and I got to be done in a half an hour. So, because I got to be here, so I think I probably will, exercise a little bit more, an extra half hour a day or extra 45 minutes a day, just because I do enjoy that.
Mike has done a good job of keeping himself in shape.
I'm not going to run a 40-yard dash, guaranteed.
You might pull a hammy doing that.
It's already pulled. It's laying at the bottom. It's laying down by my knee.
Now to close out, Mike, let's relive something nice. All right. What are you most proud of while working the 38 years?
It was fun. I've always been goal driven, and I always wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the top salesman. And I remember early on sitting in the sales meetings and all the guys had rings on, and they had master rings and grandmaster rings. And so I always wanted those, and my first goal was to be salesman of the month, and sell the most vehicles. And I was second a number of times. And I think from my third year on, I was top salesman, probably 10 out of 12 months for close to 30 years, I suppose, 27, 20, 30. And then as I started to slow down, I didn't matter so much. But I was really proud to get a grandmaster ring, which is generally the top 250 or 300 in the nation. And I also was really proud of, we got into leasing, and that's what made Deere's jump in sales. We went from selling 150 vehicles a month to 250 because people were renewing every 2 years back then. And I was the leasing consultant of the year in the Kansas City zone. I think I lost track of those three or four times, which is what I was really proud of that. That was fun. So I got a couple plaques that are up in my attic for that. But so I was proud of that. That was, and then I did get a ring for being in the top 15 for customer satisfaction. And that also proud of that, because that's what gets you to the rest of it.
Right.
So what do you want people to remember about Mike Coffman?
Hopefully, if it's my customers, I hope they just feel like, hey, it was easy to deal with, that I hopefully was friendly, I treated them right, and, didn't take advantage of them. And they just felt like they could pick up the phone and call me, and I would hook them up with something and help them get a vehicle, something that worked for their needs. And, hopefully that's, that I took care of them.
You know what I'm going to remember? That even 12 years older than me, Mike can drive the ball a lot farther than I can. And I'll have one right down the fairway that I feel really good about. And then, there goes Coffman. I guess we're not using mine.
Well, thank you, Mike, for sitting here with us. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. You're not leaving yet. I'm just saying because we're ending the podcast. But thank you so much for sitting here with us and telling us the stories that you had the past few years. It's been really nice to have you here.
Right. Great. Thanks. I enjoyed it too.
30 years, over 30 years, 38 years, thousands of cars, lots of great memories. So we thank you for your time, Mike, and we thank you for joining us on Pitstop with the Deere's Ford Lincoln Auto Amigos. We'll see you next week.